Welcome back YouTube for another performance psychology video. Today we are going to be going over how to transition from sim or paper trading into a live trading account. Now I am addressing this because a lot of people have asked me this over the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the tips and some of the things I use to transition from paper trading or simulator account into a live trading account. Now, before I step into this, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a quote from another trader. It says, "A successful trading career is building on the process. The process of your trading is what brings long-term success." And honestly, I believe that's 100% true. A lot of times when you're so focused on outcome, you find that it's a struggle to get to where you want to be, right? More so, you should be here in trading anyway, you should be focused on the actual process. A rules-based process in the long term is going to bring you the success that you want, right? And a lot of seasoned traders know that if you follow some type of rules-based process continually, statistically you'll see whether that strategy works out. And if it doesn't, then you'll critique it a little bit until you see that it does work out, until it gives you a good winning ratio or percentage, and then continue to follow that. And that process will actually bring you the money versus being so focused on the outcome of the actual trade, and making money. You're more so focused on trading better, right? And that is the key in trading, is to become a better trader and not to become rich. Once you focus on being a better trader, placing better trades, then the money will follow you. All right, so let's go ahead into tip number one. Tip number one from transitioning from a simulator account into a live trading account is to trade a strategy that has been proven for 100 to maybe 150 trades, sometimes even more. Too many times for the people that I coach or mentor, I see they test the strategy maybe 2 to 3 days, looking left of the chart and not actually forward of the actual chart. Not just back testing, but it's actually replaying in simulator mode or testing as the market is developing movement. That's how you see how well the actual strategy performs. And it's not just 1, 2, 3, 4 days. It's a continual, consistent process that you have to perform this strategy over and over and over again, so you can see how well it performs. In market conditions, you can see whether you're following a specific set of rules. You know what I mean? And you can adjust and adapt from there. Right? The goal is to find a reliable way to trade the market over a long period of time, allowing yourself to prepare mentally without having an emotional meltdown and blowing out your account. And speaking from experience, this definitely does work. I've definitely blown out a couple of accounts on my own and lost a couple thousands of dollars. Right, so I wasn't so focused on the actual process and critiquing my strategy, but I was more so trying to develop different strategies all at the same time. So focused on the actual outcome of the trade that it drove me into a bunch of different emotions and bad habits that kind of spiraled me downhill from there. All right, so again, you want to stick to trading a strategy and prove that that strategy works. So that means you have to consistently do it over and over and over again to see how it develops in moving markets and performs. And from there, you can critique it. Tip number two: when transitioning from a simulator or paper trading account to a live trading account, use similar position sizings. Don't, even in simulator accounts, don't be trading 10 plus lots to make thousands of dollars. No, use a similar position size that you would when you would go live, which is usually on average maybe 1 to 2 lots for most people. Very rarely I see other people being capable of trading 3 to 4 to 5 lots. So doing this, when you trade multiple lots like that, 10 plus lots, what it does is it sabotages your trading when you go live. It gets you into thinking that you can do it and you can make thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? And making $100, $200 is great, but when you actually go live and you make $100 and $200, maybe that's not enough because you see thousands of dollars made on a simulator account by placing too much lots on there, or by adjusting your stops, or by not taking actual profit when you should, but letting the trade run out and you just feel like, I can do this. I can make big money in a live account. And a lot of times that ends up sabotaging your trading. It ends up creating or developing bad habits along the way, which results into emotions like greed, fear, revenge trading, and eventually will get you to the point where you blow out an actual account. Tip number 3, this is something that I use. Now, you guys don't necessarily have to use this, but I use it, is an all in and all out technique for simple trade management. Even in a simulation, you should use a one stop and one target. No scaling in, no scaling out. Allow the trade to run its course. That way you can pinpoint the actual pain points and adjust it from there. A lot of times, when people lose trades, they're not actually adjusting and pinpointing what the actual pain points are. They're too focused on, saying that the strategy doesn't work, or the market was too volatile. When in actuality, a lot of times we are in our own way, and self-awareness becomes the main issue for most traders that I see and I coach and mentor. A lot of times it has to do with whether they're entering in too late, too early, fear of missing out on the trade, letting the trade run too long where they should have took profit. And they just are developing these bad habits, and a lot of it comes from actually simulator or paper trading accounts, and they bring that right over into live trading instead of applying the same rules, the same principles, the same fundamentals in a sim account, and then bring that over into a live account. So again, what this is going to do is it's going to help you to pinpoint the actual pain points. It's going to allow you to see whether the strategy works out, and it's going to force you to not move your stops and not move your take profits, but allow the actual scaling plan to work. And most times, good mentors and coaches will tell you to at least try to do a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1. So when you do lose a trade, your next winning trade will cover the loss and some, right? So it's easier to fight back when you just take, one hit of a loss versus moving your stop and taking, more than what you should have taken. It's easier to fight back when you just allow your stop to get hit, or you cut the trade early and you look for your next best trade from there. So this type of stuff will help you with, focusing on your winning percentage rather than your profit. It forces you to use responsible risk management. Psychologically, again, it is easier to recover from a loss when you know your winner is equal to or greater than your loser. A lot of times that's all in our head. The reason you want to keep your trade management as simple as possible is so you can see whether you're making good decisions or not, and you can stay confident in adversity and achieve a high win rate. You want to be able to build that confidence, because confidence is the key to trading. It is the oxygen that you need to breathe, right? That's, every trader that I know that has been and is a seasoned trader knows this, that confidence is one of the main things that you need to continue to find success in trading, right? You need to build that confidence, and the way you build confidence is by allowing the strategy to continue to play out and play out and play out, and following specific criteria and rules to enter in, and you will build that confidence in that trade. You will build that certainty in that trade. You will develop from getting into uncertain trades and emotional trades, and you will develop a key eye for the ones that you can see and recognize. As there is chaotic movement in markets, you can recognize patterns, you can recognize market structure and development, and you can capitalize on those, and you can build that confidence. Again, confidence is a key thing in trading. A lot of times with trading journey, you go from being confident in the very beginning to running into a brick wall of barriers, or barriers where you fight with your own emotions. You lose a lot of trades. You place trades in areas that you thought were great, and that strategy just fails for you. And a lot of times that fear and that uncertainty just kind of sticks, and you remember a lot of the negative versus the positive, and you kind of hold on to that, which builds a lot of different emotions of fear, and greed and all of that. And it's harder to hold on to confidence when you go through that part of the actual trading journey, right? But there is a point in the trading journey where you rebuild confidence, where you stop taking so many trades and you develop an understanding that you should be looking out for the patterns, and for the market structured movement that you are able to recognize, and then develop a trade entry with criteria from there to get you in on that, right? And you'll notice, as you develop as a trader, you'll be taking less and less trades versus more and more, trying to get in on the micro trades, because you're developing an understanding that markets are more so chaotic than they are, understandable, and so at that point, you develop an understanding that you won't trade unless you can understand the actual market movement at that time. All right. Tip number 4. Let's move on to tip number 4 here is clear entry and exit rules. Specifics. Practice using rules and have the results to prove that those specifics or specific rules work. And this will build confidence. The more confidence built, the better you become. Again, without specific rules, you're not going to truly trust your strategy when you put money at risk. Here's a key note. The reason so many struggle when stepping out of sim into live is because they develop bad habits of moving stops, letting trade winners run, entering in too early or too late in their practice phase, and they become unconsciously aware of how this is psychologically hindering their ability to become confident in their strategy. And it will emotionally damage you along the way, especially as when you go into live trading. It emotionally damages you, and those emotions, they damage your actual capital and blow out your account eventually if you allow them to overcome you. All right, so tip number 5 here: track your practice and live trading with a journal. Again, this journal has to be specific. My journals are always very, very specific on the things that I like to see, and a lot of it is specific on emotions, right? A lot of my emotions, that I'm not that I'm not certain about when I'm in a trade, a lot of that will, if I key in on it, will help me to get out of the trade early before I get into this spiral of holding on to the trade for hope, getting frustrated because I moved my or adjusted my stops, hoping the trade will work out, and then immediately trying to jump back in to make that money back, which is essentially called revenge trading, right? So make sure that you track your practice and your live trading with a journal, and make sure that journal is very specific. You want to understand the good trades, and you want to understand the bad trades. You want to understand the bad habits and the pain points and the psychological barriers that you struggle with, and it's going to really help you develop an understanding of what the real problems are. And once you can become aware of the actual real problems, then you can address those at hand, and then you can start to see success in your trading. And like I said, guys, a lot of times we're the ones, guys and gals, sorry, a lot of times we are the ones that are in our own way, right? And I know this to be true, that it doesn't matter how much market structure you understand. It doesn't matter how well you understand market communication. The most important point is actually self-awareness, right? If you can't understand self-awareness, if you don't want to develop as you understand the emotions that are taking over, and you don't want to get rid of those bad habits, you as a trader will never develop the success that you want, right? It doesn't matter how well you can actually read markets. The most important thing is to understand how to get rid of the actual bad habits, how to pinpoint the pain points, and develop to the point where you can change those for the better. Right? I have worked with thousands of people at this point, right? And I have started to understand with them and with myself that, some people have been trading for 10 plus years and know a lot more than I do in markets and market communication, right? And market development, but they still can't find consistency and success in trading. And a lot of that has to do with self-awareness. A lot of that has to do with themselves not being able to either become aware of the emotions that are taking over and the psychological pain points, right? Or they are aware of it, but they are choosing not to change it, right? And that will 100% stop you from developing as a trader, is if you cannot overcome those bad habits, those emotional bad habits especially, then you won't find the success and consistency that you want in trading. Tip number 6, the final one, is to have some type of morning and evening routine. I know I have one and I adapt it because my schedule starts to change, from month to month. So I kind of work around it. And you can do that too, but have some type of morning and evening routine. It could be you going on a run, showering, taking a cold shower, read, meditate, create, but you got to create some type of time and space to psychologically prepare for the trading day. Keep everything consistent during the transition and get into a daily routine that you can sustainably commit to every single morning before you actually go live. All right, and that is very, very, very important, because if you want to be able to do this full time and become a full-time trader, you need to have some type of routine that works around your schedule. That way you're getting in enough sleep, you're eating enough, you're exercising, you're working out your body and your mind at the same time. All right, guys, that is the 6 tips that I have for moving from paper trading into live trading. Hopefully you guys like that. If you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. For those of you that are subscribed, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. If you guys did like this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys have any questions, you can email me at david@tradeproacademy.com, or you can type some messages here on YouTube and I'll get back to you guys. You guys take care. You guys have a great Sunday. To all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Take care.